Happy Monday, everyone.
Happy Monday. We have somebody amazing on tonight.
Yes, one of our favorites.
He's kicking off the week, Mr. Haas Pratt.
Yes. Hey, y'all. It's great to be here.
Love it. Yes, so I'm Hallie McCrory, team lead, real estate agent in San Angelo, Texas. Also now working the Dallas-Fort Worth area where Haas is, stealing all his listings. I'm just kidding. And I've got my co-host Casey Stiers on out of Raleigh, North Carolina. She works the whole state of North Carolina.
In Wilmington currently, as we speak.
And in Wilmington as we speak. You can see the fish behind her. You know you're on the coast. And then we've got the listing boss, Mr. Haas Pratt, one of our mentors. And he is just, honestly, Haas, you're like my favorite real estate, sales coach in the game. So
real estate guru, that's for sure.
Well, thank you guys.
And we've had him on before. So if you haven't watched the episode with him on here, you need to go back and watch that one as well, because we're talking a little bit different topics here. But yeah, excited to have you on, Haas.
Yeah, me too. We got a lot to cover, don't we?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So if you guys don't know, Haas is world-renowned speaker. He has his own book, The Listing Boss. Another one coming up soon, Skillionaire.
Skillionaire.
Do we have any update on Skillionaire?
Yeah, it keeps. I started writing Skillionaire. I was about to get published, and COVID hit, and all the publishers went into hiding during that time, and so then I found myself in a pandemic. And, in a virtual market where people had to operate virtually. So it even applied more, like to build skills. And so I realized, well, Skillionaire wasn't ready yet because I need to add a chapter for that, and then fast forward, now we have AI and we have this AI move and like things like Chat GPT and things that, people can write a book in 5 seconds. So now I'm like, okay, well, now I got to add that. And so it's more and more important and prevalent to build skills. And in every season over the last 3-4 years, we've had some major things that have happened, in the world that that reinforce the belief of you must become a skillionaire. And it's about skills. It's about real skills, and so hopefully nothing else happens to where I have to add another chapter, but we have a lot to work with. And so, that's kind of what's happened, but I'm excited about it. Oh, can't hear
you.
Sorry, mic was muted. Of course. So we talked last time you came on about some listing stuff, but I wanted to dive in more today. I know you've been helping one of the girls on my team, Katie, a bunch. She's been going through your course that you provide to us. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Plug there. She's been going through and has been absolutely killing it with your for sale by owner portion of your course. I would love for you to touch on that, because I know that's something that we have a lot of newer agents come on here and watch, and that's one of the biggest, expireds and for sale by owners are two of the biggest ones that I feel like new agents are told to go after.
Yeah.
So if you could maybe touch on what your hacks, tips, and tricks for sale by owners would be, that'd be great.
Well, let me tell you, what I do, in case people don't know, and what I specialize in is I help people go from 0 to 100 real quick. Like that's what I do. That's what my intention is, because in real estate, you don't have a lot of time to get to the closing. Like a lot of times people get in, they need deals now, they need deals yesterday, and so what I have always specialized in is helping people go from 0 to something fast. And I would say 0 to 20 million in volume is my sweet spot, where somebody that's either brand new, 5 million, 10 million, trying to get to 20 million, like that's my sweet spot, that 0 to 20 million. I could help people over that, but like what I specialize in is like helping people make it, because like this industry has a revolving door. A lot of people fail at it because I believe because they didn't get to me yet, and so what I have to do is I have to find ways, no matter what somebody's background is, no matter what their experience is, help them get results today. And so one of the ways I teach is to dominate niches. There's niches out there where in real estate, if you focus on particular niches, it's easier to get results. And and in real estate, there's a couple niches that are the low-hanging fruit. They will always be around. It's a great place for people to start. It's a great place for anybody to get listings. And, those would be like the for sale by owner listings and the expired listings, because, having a niche that 100% of the niche want to sell is a big thing. Like they're already raising their hand saying, hey, me, I already want to sell.
Right.
Expireds already wanted to sell. They already hired a real estate agent. The other agent failed. So like these are the two easiest niches to go after. And I know this from experience. I'm 41 today. I've been in real estate over 20 years, and I was a brand new real estate agent. And I came from Missouri. I didn't know anybody here. I talk like a country redneck, and I figured out how to take a listing a day and in a market where I didn't know anybody. And so, I had a 17 or an 18-year-old take 7 listings the other day. A part-time agent took 7 listings the other day. And so the fastest way to do it is focusing on those niches. So for sale by owners are a great niche. Anytime anybody's new or starting, or they're in that 0 to 20 million range and they're trying to grow, that's always a niche. I'm like, well, have you marketed to FSBOs? And so here's the reason why, because not only do they want to sell, but you must become a skillionaire. And so to become a skillionaire, you have to have conversations and you have to be able to communicate about real estate. And so this is for the audience. How many sellers have you had a meaningful conversation with in the last week? Like, you sell real estate, you help people sell their home for top dollar, you help people buy. Yeah. How many meaningful conversations with sellers have you had in the last week? And so I would have everybody, all of you listening, ask yourself that question, and be honest with yourself, because it's probably not enough. Right. In most people, like they're not talking.
Before, and out of those 4, I'm getting 2 listings.
What's that?
I've had it with 4 different people, and out of those, I've got 2 listings. So. Right.
Yeah, that's amazing. But like our job, y'all, is to have more conversations in real estate. Look at yourself like a glorified appointment setter, and you'll be very successful. Meaning our job is to set appointments. Our job is to set listing appointments, buyer appointments. And when we could simplify the task and the role of what we do, it makes everything easier, and so that's what I like to do. Is I like to help people set listing appointments. I think every day we should be on a listing appointment, and you should, because it's not that difficult when you have the right system. So for sale by owners are a great place, because here's why. They answer their phone. So an agent's going to talk to a prospective seller. They're going to have a meaningful conversation. And what happens in this, they build that skill of being able to communicate about real estate. And this is a skill that must be developed. And so you must be able to articulate your value, be able to know what questions to ask, to find people's pain and motivation, be able to have confidence in what you do. And if you don't have confidence and you cannot communicate about real estate, you will not make it in this game, especially in this market.
Yep. Very true.
So this is a kick in the butt to all y'all. You got to get on the phone, have more conversations, to set more appointments. And the reason the phone is, it's the fastest and most efficient way to have conversations. That's all we do, is we have conversations to set the appointment. And so, in a perfect world, that's what you do all day. You're setting appointments, you're going on those appointments, you're putting signs in the ground. You're not working a bunch of buyers, because, your listings are the way to leverage, and you have other team members work the buyers, like as a leader, you know, the one who can control their inventory, the one who can take the listings, the one who has the most listings is the one that wins. And so I think that in a shifted market like we're in, you know, these are the people who thrive, the people that do what I'm saying, and the ones that wait for the business to come to them are the ones that are going to struggle. The ones that go get what is theirs are the ones that are going to thrive.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's a long-winded answer to FSBOs, but you know, there's a lot to that. But
not really. I always say you have the recipe. If you follow it, you're going to do just fine. And I've had somebody sign on to my team a month ago, and she's gotten listings. She literally took a week before she started doing anything and just focused on HASA stuff. And then, and that's the thing. When you join us, you get access to.
Yeah.
Magic.
Right. I pour into y'all, man. Like I'll help you, you know, because you know, it's like this too. It's like I talked to a gal the other day. She's not very good at conversing. You know, she's not anything to write home about. Like she has confidence issues. She came to my office. She paid me a lot of money to come to my office to spend a day with me, like to teach her this stuff, right? And I'm like, I mean, I spent all day with her. I made phone calls with her. I set appointments with her. And I told her when she showed up with like a stack of papers like this with like all of my scripts. And on the, and in here, I saw all this writing. Like she just like wrote all over every page. And I'm looking, I go, what is this? She goes, these are all my notes. And I say, well, like how many calls are you making? She goes, I haven't started yet. I said, listen, this is a waste of time because you will not learn what to say until you start saying it.
Right.
Do it. Mm-hmm.
And so what people do is they think they have to get ready to prepare. And you don't learn anything by reading this script. You only learn by saying it and having a conversation. Like, you know me, I mean, I'm like, you don't learn anything in the walls. You learn it in the streets. You learn it by doing, you know? And so, and I told her, I said, you will get confident in a week. You will become better in a week. It only takes a week. This is for everybody. I've worked with thousands of real estate agents. It takes a week to start building your confidence. So if you can be consistent for a week, and what happens is at the end of the week, you feel refreshed, you feel accomplished. You find, I told her this, I said, you're going to go from being uncomfortable to being uncomfortable not doing it. You're going to find, I told you from 9 to noon, you're setting the appointments. And during that 9 to noon hour, what's going to happen is it's going to become sacred. It's going to become therapeutic. It's going to become Zen. It's going to become something that brings you peace of mind. And I talked to her today. She goes, I love this. This was just in a few weeks. She goes, I like my favorite time of day is that 9 to noon. She goes, it's like therapy to me. It's like, and she said exactly. So this is what happens, y'all. You got to get to a place where you're consistent enough to where the most important action in real estate, which is prospecting for new business, becomes sacred, and it becomes your happy place.
Yeah.
And it will become your happy place no matter how good or bad you are, as long as you are consistent. The only thing you control is that time. Like I told her, I don't even care what you do after 12 o'clock noon. I tell your teams this. After noon, I don't care. Like you just do what I say to do from the time you wake up till 12 o'clock noon, and you will be successful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why do I not care after 12 o'clock noon? Because, you know, they should be on appointments anyway, you know?
That's what I was about to say. Yeah. Hopefully they're on those appointments.
That's your doing.
You know, that problem tends to solve itself when we figure out that before noon. And you know, remember, you're a maker in the morning and a manager in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
In real estate, we're unemployed every 90 days.
Yep.
You know, we don't control interest rates. We don't control the economy. We don't control, any of those things. We only control our actions.
Mm-hmm.
And every agent listening could and should be thriving in this market, in a market where everybody's licking their wounds and full of fear. Like, this is the key, and this is the answer. Like, everybody I'm working with is crushing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, if everything pans out like it's supposed to, I'm gonna do close to 10 million this month. Like,
That's amazing.
That's so awesome.
And I'm very proud of it. So
Yes, that's amazing. In a month.
like I have many balls up in the air, and I've listened to you guys, like just keep making those calls, even. And I look at closings. When I go to a closing table, I have that, oh crap, what do I do next? Who am I working with next? It's not time to go celebrate and pop bottles. It's time to, okay, who's next? Who's next?
That's right.
So.
That's it. Next. And, and because people need help, y'all. Here's the thing, in real estate right now, I believe if somebody wants to sell, now is the time to sell. It doesn't make sense to wait 6 months or 3 months. In that conversation, if you have a conviction about believing what I'm saying, meaning you believe now is the time to sell, you will create the urgency to give the seller permission to go for it. And that's what we are in this market. We're in a market where sellers need your permission to put the sign in the ground and give them the reason why, and to create that urgency. And that's how you can take a listing a day, is we have the market working for us in there. And then, in the timing.
I mean, and even so, it's like we're starting, or at least for me, in the Dallas market and the San Angelo market, we're starting to get back into some low inventory. Like buyers are picking up. Right. And so if you're paying attention to the market, you'll see that. And of course it's different in everybody's market, but I don't know. I mean, I'm right now, I'm in San Angelo in a small town, 120,000 people population. And we're seeing this. So I don't know.
In Wilmington, same thing. I mean, we were riding through River Lights today, and it's insane how many houses. When my client was actually considering that neighborhood, he was going to have to go to a new build, and it wasn't going to be ready until October. And there's hundreds of homes there on a 2-lane road that used to lead to, it was just a cut from Carolina Beach to downtown. I mean, you got your tankers, you got your ports there. And so, I mean, it's,
Yeah. And not that the market matters. If you're being consistent with your prospecting, you're going to be doing well. But I don't know. I just think people are getting in their heads about, this market.
They're just
we're kind of past that, and we're in uncharted waters. It's going to be really exciting. I saw BlackRock, the big financial company in New York, is starting to buy a ton of property. So we're going to have competition, and sellers are going to need to start selling.
That's right.
That's the thing.
And here's the thing too, because I've been self-employed my whole life. For those of you that know my story, I didn't go to college. I barely made it through high school. The only thing I had to do was figure out how to, make it on my own. And I've been through, since I was 15, I've owned my own business. And I've been through multiple types of businesses, and I've gone through so many different economies and markets and marketplaces. And one thing that I just never do is I never think about the market. I don't. I don't give it much. I give it attention in terms of how I adjust to it, but not in terms of, oh no,
letting it discourage you.
Yeah, never let it discourage you.
Today, he goes, how are you feeling about the market? How are you feeling about people around you that are growing? I was like, I'm not worried about them, and I'm not worried about the market. I'm worried about what I'm doing. And as long as I keep focusing on mine, then and not making excuses and making the calls, it's going to keep coming. I'm going to have my biggest month during all this. And I'm not making excuses. My biggest fear is, how can I be better than who I was last year? So that's the only person I'm competing with right now.
That's right.
Yeah. And if you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing and being consistent, you need to have the attitude too, that you're going to be one of the top agents that is still it's not going to be affected by this.
I'm not looking beside me. I'm looking at. Also, I think you said that actually. I got it from somebody.
What'd I say?
Not looking beside you. I'm looking ahead.
Yeah. It's like that Michael Phelps picture when he's swimming, and that in the Olympics, and that number 2 guy's looking at Phelps.
Yes.
You don't ever do that.
No.
Don't ever look at your
competition. Now I'm looking at this.
As a swimmer, and literally
I'm doing that.
Yeah.
As a swimmer, every swimmer knows, and it's sometimes you just kind of can't help it, you're looking when you're in a race. But I think a little peek, or maybe that's okay. But if you turn your head that causes insane drag against the water. And I think that's a great analogy for real life.
I love it. I was a swimmer for many years. I was number 2 in breaststroke.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that, Casey.
Yep. And I was number 1 in archery on the East Coast.
Dang.
So, FYI.
Oh
Yep.
I'm trying to get my daughter in archery because I think that's a good place to get a scholarship, get a female archery,
Browning and Jennings backed me. So
Yeah.
Wow.
Seems like a safe sport too.
Yeah.
Somehow, I mean, even though you're like shooting arrows, but seems a little bit safer than other
A little
sports.
self-defense too, so you never know when you got to put an arrow in somebody, Like,
it came in handy when I ran the Spartan run. I had to
right.
Yeah.
because I did bullseye. So
Love it.
there you go. Little secrets about me for the week.
Yeah.
Swim, and I never looked side. I was always just focused forward. And looking back on it, yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, and I think that's the case with anything. Not only do I not think about the markets, I don't ever think about competition. Like I really don't have any competitors. I don't think of competitors that way. But I think I'm the best in the world at what I do too. You know what I'm saying? Like I believe that. Like, and I think we all should, right? I mean, believe that you're the best at what you do. But like it's the only competition we have is our own self, the person in the mirror, like growing and and becoming better. I mean, it's like we got to weed the garden, I always think about it like that, like, starting and stopping things, is something that I'm always looking at doing. How do I improve? What do I do? What do I adjust? What do I change? And I think about like a garden, you got to go weed the garden. You got to pull the weeds out. And if you sit too long, the weeds overtake the garden. So you got to get to stepping, move fast, get moving. And that protects you from a lot of things when you're on a mission and you're moving and you're with speed and you're going for something. Like that helps you in a lot of ways. Like it isolates you from a lot of the things that hold people back, even from mindset. I mean, what happens whenever we're not doing what we know we need to be doing? It makes us depressed.
Very true.
And so all we got to do is just start, right?
That's the alarm. It takes more effort to shut your alarm off and find excuses in the morning than it does just to get up and do it.
Just get up, man. Yeah. Don't think, just do. Do not and work on not negotiating with yourself. Like I'm a hell of a negotiator, and like when I find myself negotiating with myself, I'm like, bro, you need to stop that. Like that doesn't go anywhere. Like I can talk myself into and out of anything.
Yep.
So it's setting up your day and your time to where it removes thought. Like, and this is an important thing. Your day should be the same every day in real estate, meaning you're 9 to noon, you're on the phone prospecting, having conversations. From 12 to 1, you're doing the business side of that. From 1 to 4, you're managing the business. From 4 to 7, you're on appointments. Every day is that. So when somebody says, hey, you want to go to, go here at 11, or will you come list my house at 11? No, because we know what we're doing from 9 to noon. And so when you do that, it gives you more control and personal power over your time, because we don't have managers, right? We have to manage ourselves. And the way you do that is you set up a daily method of operations that is the same every day. Like my days are the same. It's like Groundhog Day, because that's where performance comes in. Like you got to do the things every day. And so what happens is when people don't have that, man, they don't get results.
Right.
Like why? Because they don't have control. And so that's why it's so important to have systems in your real estate business, because the systems manage you. Like you don't manage people, have the system manage you. And so the key is to build a business that removes the thinking of what to do. And that's what I help people do. That's how I help people get from 0 to 20 million. Or 10 to 20 million my company's called Pratt Success Systems, because when you have a system that you're following, it removes the thought and you're able, and it gives you the clarity of what you need to be doing. And I find that's what a lot of agents never find, or they don't have. And that's why they're not achieving their, they're reaching their potential. And in a lot of cases they fail, unfortunately.
Right.
Yes.
Oh man.
I started with the systems. I started with just having my workout time, and it's set and nobody can touch it. And just like my yoga Wednesdays, from 7 to 8, nobody can, like, it's my time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've done the same kind of with prospecting for listings. Like I have, what I do for the marketing and make like funnels for those, and I just have it all, like all the directions set out for me. So it's not anything I have to really like overthink, because there's a lot of thinking that has to go in our days. And I'm like, I can get like burnout from that, I feel like. So the more I can systemize, the more motivated I feel too.
Here's what you do. You just get off work at the end of the day, pour yourself a glass of wine, sit down on your laptop and build systems. You do those things in the evening. You do those things on the weekends. You do those things when the sun is down. You don't want to be thinking when the sun is out. You want to be acting. You want to be taking action.
I like that.
You see?
Yeah.
So you think in the evenings, you think on the weekends, but during the day, you don't think, you do.
Nights for doing, or sun nights for doing and nights for thinking.
Yes. Look, I write books and courses and seminars. I've written thousands of hours of content. If I brought my wife in here, she'd tell you I'm in bed when he's written all of those things. And that's been for over 13 years. I find that's where I'm able to think. That's where I'm able to get in that place of thinking. You know why I can't think during the day? Because now I have anxiety about business.
Yeah.
I can't build funnels during the day or systems during the day, because I have that internal drive that's going, bro, you need a listing. Like, you need to be on the phone. You need to be on an appointment. And so what we do is that's the key, is you want to structure your time to where you're able to maximize yourself and your performance. Now, somebody says, well, I can't do that at the end of the day. I'm tired. Well, tired doesn't matter to thinking like that. Like, if you haven't been thinking through the day, you've been doing, you still have that capacity to organize thoughts when the sun is down.
Yeah. Adam built most of his businesses, I would say, between probably midnight and like 2 a.m. That's when he has all his.
There's been many 2 a.m. nights.
Early morning too, if you're a morning person.
Yes, that's when I like in the morning first thing. That's like my time, like between 6:30, 7 a.m. So.
Yeah, and I'll go to bed sometimes at 2 a.m. I'll be up by 6. My wife will be like, man, did you even go to bed last night? I got 4 hours of sleep. She goes, man, I need 8 hours of sleep. I'm like, I just need 4. Like, I'm like Trump that way, y'all. I'm like, I just need a few hours, and I'm like ready to go. Like,
like that too. I mean, I was up yesterday by 8 Sunday morning, and I didn't leave. I helped Adam close a few places, so I didn't get home till 3:30.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to mess up that schedule, be up early, because if I sleep in, then I'm going to stay up, and it's going to.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I can't do that.
You know what that is too, though? That it's the moment before you go to sleep is when your brain is most responsive. The moment when you wake up, your brain is most responsive. It's called delta waves. And so your brain is in delta before you fall asleep and right when you wake up. So what you want to do is you want to be really intentional with how you spend the time before those two times. So like before you go to sleep, here's an example. You don't want to look at the clock and go, oh my gosh, it's 3 a.m. Oh no, I need to get up at 8. That means I only have 5 hours of sleep. I'm going to be so tired. This is what we do.
You just manifested being tired.
You will be tired. This is crazy. I want y'all to try this. All the listeners, try it. No matter how many hours of sleep it is, you will feel how you tell yourself you're going to feel before you go to bed. It's mind-blowing, and it works. So tell yourself instead I'm going to be tired, say I'm going to wake up feeling amazing. My feet are going to hit the ground like Tigger, man. I'm going to hit the ground running. And I won't even need my alarm. And here's what happens. If you set the alarm at 6, you're going to wake up at 5:55. You don't even need an alarm.
I don't anymore. And
you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you wake up, here's what you do. You wake up, you say, oh my God, thank you, God, for another day. Oh my gosh, I got the gratitude.
Yeah.
As soon as I wake up, I do this. I'm like, yes, another day. I make, like, thank you. Like, and it's like over the top, right? Like, it's like, I like, it's over the top, like embellished in the sense of, because it's a physiology. And then I think gratitude, and I think, oh my gosh, thank you, Lord, thank you for the gift, thank you for my children, thank you for this day. And I'm spending that time at 5 minutes when I wake up with my eyes closed, just bringing it in the blessings, the gratitude, and that has always been that's what I try to do. That's my routine, is like, and it's a big difference, like if you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh no, I'm tired, hit snooze. Don't do that. Wake up, go, yes, right? Energy.
And then do this again.
Bring in gratitude.
It's going to happen to me today.
Yeah, totally. Because you're in delta waves. And mindset's an important thing when what we're talking about, like people say, well, how do you get so much done? Because I do what I'm telling you, I had to learn these things, from books to mentors to people. Like my mentor, Tony, who's written 70 books, told me about that trick about delta. Before you go to bed, when you wake up, like, I mean, I didn't know all this stuff. I learned all this stuff by seeking and doing, but I believe that we can all get more out of each other, out of ourselves. And to do that, there's things that we need to know.
Yeah.
I'd even like to make a recording for myself to play, like as I'm falling asleep or when I'm waking up.
Right. You know what I do too is I listen to a lot of things when I go to bed. I listen to sermons. I listen to, things like Jim Rohn. I'll listen to.
I was about to say Jim Rohn.
Yeah, I'll listen to him. I'll fall asleep in my ear because I believe that even when I'm sleeping, I'm still learning. I believe that if the earbuds or my earphones are in my ear and I fall asleep, whatever is going on is saying, my subconscious mind is still picking it up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I'll play affirmations when I sleep.
That's right.
I'm working on my affirmations. I'm trying to do that more. So.
You know what? It sounds hokey, this stuff, but this is like the universe. These are like laws of the universe.
This
like,
is scientifically proven.
Yeah.
Joe Dispenza, if you don't believe me.
Yeah.
Things happen. You start listening to these things. Things happen. Every time when I'm riding my car, I've been spending a lot of time on the road going from Wilmington to Raleigh, and I listen to different things. And when I do that, things happen. So
things happen. And because the reason affirmations work is because I am statements. I am, like, whatever it is you say you are, you are.
Mm-hmm.
And you manifest things. You speak things into existence. And at the beginning, God said, let there be light, and there was light. Did he think there was light? No, it says he said, let there be light. Speaking. A word, your word is your wand. Your word has vibration. It's like it sends it through the universe to eternity. Like it's like a butterfly flapping its wings. Like one butterfly sends this thing to eternity. Everything has that. And so words are an important thing. So just because you think something doesn't mean you say it. Yeah. You can think it all day long. Thinking doesn't make things real.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking things makes that thought real. And so what is coming out of your mouth is really important. Now you may, if you're struggling with mindset, you may have negative thoughts, but that's okay. Just don't say it. Whatever it is, don't speak it.
Mm-hmm.
Because speaking it is what the universe goes, oh, you're tired. Okay. Right. You're going to be tired. Oh, you want this? Oh, here you go. Oh, you're going to do this. Here you go. And I found, just a lifetime of, creating something from nothing is like, that's an important thing. Is just, there's things like that. I mean, I have to be real careful what I say, because I learned that whatever I say comes to fruition.
Yeah. Maybe I need to put in permission. I'm going to learn how to walk looking forward so I don't remember things.
That's why if you know me too, I don't dwell on the past. I don't think about the past because the past built me. I don't worry or think about the future. I'm not a big planner. I'm not a, I know like some people are like planners. They have to have everything, to-do list. Not me. I live in this moment right now because I find life is best lived in spontaneity. When you just show up and you're with the right intention in this moment now, like, man, that's what it's all about. Like at this point in my career, that's what drives me, is experiencing the supernatural, experiencing the creation, and right. And I learned that if I plan too far out in the future, like, I mean, who am I? I mean, I don't know who's supposed to come into my world tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know what random interaction I'm going to have or what somebody's going to buy. And so I think that's an important thing. If you're always worried about the future, like that's a mindset thing that you got to fix. It's a habit. It's oftentimes it's insecurity. It's it's not
like wanting to have control over it because you're worried.
That's right. So get to a place.
Back to the worry.
Get to a place where you release control, because you realize that you don't. The only thing you control is the things like your words and your actions. Like you and those things are what create a future that is so big that you couldn't even fathom. Like, I can't believe that, on the days I'd spend 5 hours a day on the phone when I was 21 years old, that it would lead to changing lives. I wasn't even thinking about that then. I wasn't thinking about wanting to write books and be a speaker. I was just thinking I don't want to fail. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes. But it leads to something. And that's what a lot of people don't know, what it leads to. Like, the reason you need to pick up the phone is so not only so you can have conversations, but so you can build the skill, because that skill is going to take you somewhere that you don't even know. When I was on the road doing seminars, I was on the road 200 days a year, and I've done thousands of seminars in almost all 50 states.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I was in my early 20s, it was before I was married, before I had kids, I was just on the road living in hotels. Like I didn't even know where I was half the time. Like I'd be in Seattle one week, Maine and next week, like I'd be all over the place. And I remember it can be a drag going through, like, traveling and airplanes, but I was a very good traveler. Like I mastered traveling, and but I remember even back then thinking I never worried about the money. Never thought about the money, because I was so grateful that I could make enough money to build the skills.
Yeah.
And so that's where a lot of people need to be is like, don't worry about the money. The money comes. The money is a byproduct of what I'm saying. But what you do is you don't worry about anything, but you focus on the skill, putting in the work. I tell my kids that, in their 20s, I go, bro, don't even think about making money in your 20s. Just think about skills. Like, if you're a 20-year-old chasing money, you're chasing the wrong thing. Because you have a lifetime in front of you, and the time that you invest in yourself now is going to lead to that money. And so we live in a world, though, that people, it's natural to try to avoid that work. And so what I believe is the people who do that work are the ones that get the skills, the ones that are going to survive and thrive in any market. And that's the one thing we control. And it's the one thing I've always done. And it's the thing that I'm just most grateful for. I'm most grateful that I put in the work to build the skills to be able to write the book Skillionaire. Why? Because nobody can take those things away from me.
True. Yeah.
And you know what the most important skill is? People skills. Because people skills, in a world where somebody can use technology to write, a book, or, to get to or a campaign or a thing, here's what happens. All roads lead to a conversation. So you can even take the 25-year-old who is just on his phone, has the TikTok brain, and he doesn't need to talk to a realtor. but he's going through the motions. But here's what happens to this kid. There's going to be a time where he wants to speak to you before he buys. So in that time, it's important. Even in the world with AI, you will never replace belly to belly, nose to nose, toes to toes conversations. And so that is a skill that we need to be teaching our kids. Listen, if you have kids, I know that my kids, I don't care if they go to college. Like I have a 10-year-old and 11-year-old. I don't know where college is going to be in 8 years. I mean, it's hard for me to even imagine college being important in 8 years. Yeah, it just is. Like, and so, but what I got to do is I got to raise, number one is my job is to raise a confident child where they have confidence. Like right now, both my children are playing tennis, the tennis lessons. Why? Because everything I do is to help them build confidence.
Right.
And be able to communicate. Like, I don't even care about that. Like as long as they have confidence and they can communicate, I won. There's nothing that they can't do.
Love that. Well, and it's good too. Like, I don't know, even this is like kind of random, but growing up, my parents tried to instill the same type of values for me. And like whenever I brought friends over or whatever, they could always tell, or they just always hated when I had friends that couldn't like look at them in the eyes and talk to them.
Yes.
And when I had friends that did, they were always so impressed.
That's right.
So I feel like it starts from a young age.
It does.
Yeah.
I was in Costa Rica last week. I went to church on the beach. Like is church on the beach. It was amazing. Like sitting there, at church, you're looking at the ocean. And I just first time I've been there to this church on the beach. I've been to Costa Rica, but this kid was going around shaking everybody's hand, introducing himself. He's probably an 8-year-old kid going around shaking his hand. Hi, welcome. Hi, what's your name? Right then I noticed what you're talking about. I go, that's a special kid right there. Like that kid right there. He comes up and shakes my hand. And I go, what's your name? He goes, my name's Daniel. He looks me in the eye. I said, Daniel, let me tell you something, buddy. You're going to be somebody someday. Like, you're a special kid. And like, he's like, oh, thank you. And like, and that's what you're saying. Like, it's I mean, there's a lot of adults that don't have that skill.
Right.
Like most don't.
Something my parents thought. My dad, a firm handshake and look at somebody in the eyes
That's
when you're
right.
talking to them.
Yeah.
My dad told me that every day. You got to look them in the eye.
Most of the people were from Wilmington.
Yeah.
And same thing with them. It's look them people in the eye and have a firm handshake and everything else will fall into place. So,
but it's nothing, even if you weren't, like we were lucky enough to have parents that taught us that, and Haas for you, like your mentors, and you for your kids, but it's nothing you can't develop now.
you can always learn. You're never too old to change.
No. You can do anything at any moment, and you can learn. Like even shy people. I work with people. I have to figure it out for them. Not everybody is born with the gift of gab. And my job as a coach is to take anybody and to help them communicate. And I can, as long as they're consistent and persistent, they will learn. But the key is consistency and persistence, because you may be somebody that isn't confident. Maybe your parents didn't raise a confident child. That's okay. Like you can become confident.
Yeah.
Like it's not like you're either confident or not. You become confident through, repetition.
Doing.
Like I could, I'm a terrible basketball player. Like I'm the worst basketball player there is, but I'm confident I could get good, right? I could get good. I know I could be in the NBA in basketball. Even I know I could, if I put in the work, did the work, got good. I know I could. Why? Because I know people can do anything.
Right.
And like, even though I suck today at basketball, I know however it would happen that I could be in the NBA if I did the work. Why? I don't know. Just, I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe you could be president of the United States. Not that you would ever, I don't know why you would ever want to have that job, but what a terrible job, I mean,
it probably is at the top of the worst jobs.
Yeah. terrible job. I would not want to be president, but like, you could. And so when you know that you can do and accomplish anything in life and business, it gives you personal power and it gives you control of your own life. You know, if you think that you're the wrong color or the wrong sex or the wrong location, the wrong industry, like, I mean, that's terrible. What a terrible place to be helpless, right?
Right.
Like, I have one of my good friends has no legs and no arms. Like, I mean, when I drink beer with him, I got to like give him the beer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got like, here you go. Here's another drink, you know? And when we move, I got to go pick him up and carry him like a feed sack, like picking him up, carrying him around. Like, this dude has no legs, no arms. He was born that way, but he's one of the biggest speakers in the world. The guy, you know, Nick Vujicic, a lot of people know him. He speaks at churches and stuff. He's one of the biggest speakers in the world. And, you know, he has an amazing family, beautiful wife, beautiful children. He has a life. And like, I always think of Nick when I think about excuses or things that, you know, we don't have or don't have. I'm like, yeah, we have our legs and arms.
Literally.
We have our brains.
That was the thing when I did that Spartan run and I was finding excuses to talk myself out of completing it. And people came by me literally with no legs, wiggling up the hill, carrying the bags that I should have been. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, so get yourself together and complete it. So. Yeah,
totally. So, you know, and go to work on yourself. You know, the best job the thing that we can do is go to work on ourselves. The best time you can spend is growing. Like right now I'm learning Spanish and I love it. Like when I'm sitting there, like, and I got this app Duolingo. Yeah. And I love this thing. And like, and I'm so grateful because I'm learning a language and I have fun with it. And so, you know, it's, always be working on something to be growing, you know? And, you know, I find that's, you know, the people that are most happiest as well. The people I've coached people that are 80 years old. I mean, I have old clients that I've worked with for a long time that are old, like, and they have more energy than most people. They have more curiosity than most people. They're happy. And here's the one thing they have in common. They're still hiring a coach. Like, they're still learning and growing. And I find that, you know, if you can accept the fact that you will always be learning and growing, and the learning and growing will never stop, and the work will never stop, and you will never get to a place where it stops, that helps solve a lot of problems.
Yeah.
You know, I've read a book, you know, of what happens when we die and go to heaven. And these guys tell their stories of, you know, the people that come back, you know, they all have this story. And one thing that they all said is it's amazing when you're there, wherever they were, that and your human language is removed. They still learn. They see things. They say, like, instantly, I knew and understood almost more than I did in my entire life within like a second. And what happens is even in that place, we are always learning and growing for eternity. So if you could imagine a place where, you know, there's no human language barrier, it's like instant downloads.
Right.
And you don't get all the download. Like, you don't ever get to a place where you know everything. Like, even there, it's
definitely not in real estate.
Definitely not in real estate. So like,
learning.
I look at learning like it's something that not only do we do in this life, but it's something that we also experience and do for eternity. And I think that's such an important thing, you know, like learning the right things, you know, like, you know, it's okay a lot of people love to learn. You know, they love to listen. They love to go to class and get the degree and then the next degree and then the next degree. But at some point, you got to put that stuff to use. And you really, truly don't learn until you put it to use.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like real estate school. You don't learn anything in real estate school.
No.
Right?
How many square feet are in an acre?
And then you're going to learn by doing.
Yeah. But like, you know, they teach us words like fee simple and chattel. Like,
yeah.
Like in real estate, you ever say, "Hey, what chattel is included in the sale of this home?" Like you'd be like, "Dude, you're new, aren't you?"
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm.
And so I find, and I didn't go to college, and I'm dyslexic, so I never did good in school. So like I learned this from experience that it's better to be street smart than book smart, because it's better to put the things that you know to work, because that's really truly where you learn. I spoke to a high school a few weeks ago out in West Texas in Wheeler. I had this guy. He saw me speaking. I was speaking at an insurance convention. And he goes, "I want you to come speak to the high school kids in my small town. It's like this oil town up in, in Wheeler, Texas." I go, "I can't do that." He goes, "Why?" I said, "Bro, I will end up on CNN if I end up speaking at a school." I did. I told him, he paid me a lot of money to come speak. And I told him the whole time, I go, "But I'm going to make people mad. Like the teachers will be mad. The principals will be mad. Some of the kids will be mad." Like, I know, because I can't show up and not speak truth.
Right.
I can't. Like, it's against everything that I am. Like, it's authenticity, believing what I'm saying. So I got in some trouble there with the teachers, and but I set all the kids free, y'all. They're all set free. I planted seeds and gave them distinctions and nuggets that they will never forget their entire life. I told half the room, I said, "Most of y'all don't even need to go to college. You don't learn anything in these walls."
And the teachers are like,
"Oh yeah, devastated."
I was preaching it.
Yeah, they were devastated. They're like, "You're ruining these kids' life," but really, I was setting them free.
yeah.
I have a funny story. When he was coming to Raleigh to do the seminar, when he did Halcyon, I was so nervous because I'd never put on anything like that ever. Yeah. A nervous wreck. And I was having nightmares that nobody was going to show up. And then I had a dream that he came in and was baptized. Everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, she said, I had a dream that you're in there, like you had like snakes and you're baptizing people in this seminar. That would be amazing. Like, I want to do that. I was trying to figure out ways to do that. Like,
I know. Haas is going to show.
I was so nervous. That's what was the result.
That's right. You should have been at the high school. You would have been real uncomfortable.
Oh my gosh.
When you were saying that, all I could think about was that. I'll never forget that dream, I don't think.
Yeah, because you can't control what I'm doing.
And I couldn't tell if I wanted to tell him or not. When I did, he just started like laughing.
I was actually trying to find a way to make that happen for you, to make that dream a reality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my
It sounds
gosh.
like you did at that high school.
You know why, though, this is important, though? Because if you can show up in that place, at a real estate seminar where you're baptizing people and, you got snakes, or you're going to the high school and you're, pissing the teachers off and the principals, like, that's freedom to me, y'all, because that's, the success to me is authenticity. And authenticity is believing what you're saying. And when you believe what you say, you have passion and conviction. And when you have passion and conviction, it makes life rich. And so success to me is getting to a place where you have confidence and self-belief and you're authentic because you believe what you're saying. And the only way you get to that place is by experiencing and doing the work.
Yeah.
And here's the byproduct of that. A lot of things, making a difference financially. Money is always a byproduct. You don't have to worry about money when you can become authentic. Like, all of those things. So to me, that's what I do. I help people get to a place where they believe what they say. And when you get there, there's nothing that you can't do. And, mindset and systems and, consistency, all of those things exist in that place to get there. And thinking doesn't have much to do it. Action does. The thinking is what prevents action a lot of times. I'm not saying don't think. You got to think hard. You got to learn how to organize your thoughts. But that's when the sun is down. And I've written books and content, but I'm dyslexic. I had to learn how to do that.
Right.
I had to learn how to create and organize my thoughts and create content. Sometimes I can smell my brain burning, like it's just on fire, like it's fried. Like I'm just mush. But that's always at the end of the day after a day of action.
Right. Massive action.
Yes. Because that's the only thing we control. And here's the other thing I would also add. It's actually massive imperfect action.
Yes.
Because you know, the imperfect thing is important because you're never going to be as good as you can be because you're always going to be growing. You're never going to be prepared to ever start anything, you know, but the human nature in us wants us to be prepared, wants us to know the things. And so if you can settle in at 87%, meaning just get it 87% right, not 100%, just 87s.
Why 87 and not
Because
like 85?
to get the 13% to perfection costs you time, money, and energy.
Okay.
And it's frustrating because you'll never get to 100%. So I'm not saying don't take pride in your work and that. Like, you know, like when I write books, I go for 100%. But in my day or I'm on the phone, I don't beat myself up. It's 87%. I'd rather have a dozen 87% than one 100%.
Mm-hmm.
You know, finishing the bridges that you built. Don't build half-built bridges. That's a good thing. Finish what you start. Meaning, like, if you don't finish what you start, you got half-built bridges all over the place. And few things cause anxiety and frustration and stop momentum like a half-built bridge. So whatever it is you do, practice finishing the bridge. Make it a habit. Make it a standard for yourself that you always finish what you start, no matter what.
Yeah.
Because here's what happens: shiny objects happen. People, they start something, and then they have all these half-built bridges.
It's easy to do that.
Easy to do that. Yeah, really easy. So I tell people, stop listening to everybody. You know, just listen to, you know, Hallie, Casey, and me. You know, like that's it.
That's right.
Turn down the noise. Like, stop letting people speak into you. Stop listening to people who don't know. Only listen to people who have done it, and seek those people. I mean, the people that I learned from are all dead. They're dead.
Yeah. Okay. Tell it, like, in our last couple minutes, will you tell us, you know, some people that we should be listening to, you think, for, you know, we got on, talked a lot of mindset. Maybe let's keep on that track. Or besides getting the Listing Boss book by Pratt.
Listen to all my stuff. All my stuff, because here's why: I have no fluff. It's just straight, just truth and direction and action. And so that's why people like my stuff, because I remove the thinking. But yes, Jim Rohn is somebody that I've learned from. You know, wisdom is what I seek. You know, seek wisdom and truth. Like, because if you can build that foundation of wisdom in your mindset, like, that's everything, man. Like, you know, and we live in a world that's like, people have they say the TikTok brain. What is that? Like, you know, they think like in seconds, and don't fall into that. Get off TikTok. Put your phone down. Like, I'm getting ready to buy a phone that's not a smartphone. It's called a dumb phone. All I can do is call and text.
It's called a flip phone, huh?
Yes, I'm getting a flip phone. I am. Like, to me, I mean, how amazing would it be to go back to a flip?
I was thinking that. I was like, I will probably be wrong if I say that. So.
Yeah. So, you know, you gotta hit the button 3 times to get to the L. You know, you gotta yeah.
He's like, yes, no, okay, that's it.
Because nothing in that phone is important. You with me?
Yeah.
Everything in that phone is, I mean, besides Duolingo, right? But like, you know, but most of that stuff, like social media and the notifications and news and all of this, is just noise. So, you know, and get to a place where you can turn down that noise, turn up the massive imperfect action, learn from people who speak truth and wisdom, and you have control over your actions. That's how you have a, you know, an amazing life and achieve great things, man. Like, and you know, you're not missing anything anyway, right?
Sure.
You know,
I like it.
Love it. That was a good way to sign off.
Yeah, here we go.
Do you have any other events coming up?
Yeah, actually, yes, I've got a shareholders event. The EXP shareholders event's coming up. I'm going to be speaking there.
Oh yeah, and if any non-EXP agents want to go to that, we can bring guests for free. So
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And then, and if you go to haaspratt.com, go there and there's a business plan for free. Just get it. Even if you aren't going to fill it out, at least get this thing now so you have it when you do want to fill it out.
Yeah.
And you go to haaspratt.com, you can get the business plan. It's a plan that will help you achieve what it is that you want. And that's a good start. But you also have my email there scrolling. Anybody that wants help, they're looking for systems, coaching, we'll get a call set up. We'll talk to you and we'll help you in any way that we can.
Love it.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on, Haas. This has been
always
amazing as usual.
You're a busy man, but we really appreciate it.
Yes.
Motivate me. I need you a lot to like kickstart me.
That's right.
If y'all don't have Haas's book too, it's on Amazon, right, Haas?
Yes.
Yeah, Amazon, The Listing Boss by Haas Pratt. That is my #1 recommendation for a book you need to read if you're in real estate.
Anybody that joins my team, it's the first thing I make sure that they get and do.
Yeah.
So,
Love it.
Awesome. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for joining us.
See y'all next week.
All right.
Happy Monday.